going on, viewers? What's going on? It's Beer Rap Banter podcast. Thank you for watching. Thank you for listening to myself, English.
And myself, Kal Sereousz. You know, it's Skinner and Badil bringing you that real. Today, on the Beer Rap and Banter podcast, we are here with none other than...
Richie Brave. Make some noise, please. Thank you for coming down. Good to see you.
Thanks for having me, man. Thanks for having me.
First of all, cheers. I know we're going to have a little celebrated drink.
Cheers.
Taking it easy.
Cheers. What you got there, bro?
Just a beer, just keeping it calm. But I might have a Guinness in a bit, if I'm allowed. I'm not driving, so yeah. But Richie, how you been, man? What's been going on?
Yeah, bro, I've been living, man. Work has been crazy.
I can see.
Yeah. Been doing this, that, and the other.
Yeah. So just talk about, for those that might not know, just talk about how you got started now with your whole social activist, public speaker, hosting a lot of positive things. So how did you get started with that?
Just
to where you now?
For me, it was chatting rubbish online.
Yeah.
I think I was just passionate about things. I wouldn't even call myself an activist really, because I have a day job. So I think my day job kind of involves activism, but I think it's not something I dedicate my whole time or my whole life to, but I do it when I can.
Yeah.
Can you tell us what your day job is?
Not really. Not really. I have to keep that quiet, but it's community based.
It's positive. It's productive.
Yeah, it's positive and productive.
Basically, you work for MI5.
Pretty much. But my job is centered in diversity and inclusion. So it's kind of like along the realms of what I stand for, really.
Yeah, because you are big on inclusion.
Definitely.
And making sure that everyone has a voice and everyone is heard.
Yeah, absolutely.
So so this building that. So obviously you started on social media.
Talking
your talk.
Yeah. And I did bits and pieces before that. So I think I've been involved in this sort of stuff since I was 16. So I worked with young people who had been abused or had been through some sort of trauma. Yeah. And it was getting them to express themselves through performing arts.
Okay.
So it would have been like acting, dancing, rapping, poetry, all of that kind of stuff. So for me, a lot of my life has just been supporting people, and like I'm a big lover, innit? I love people, and anything that I can do to maybe uplift and help the lives of people, if I've got the time, I'll involve myself in it.
That's wicked. Do you think that's what's missing now with the whole youth club thing and schemes for allowing the kids, the young people to sort of do their music, do their singing, have an outlet? Because I know we're all a similar age. We had youth clubs growing up.
Absolutely.
And that's where I learned to sort of do music or to write music and perform and meet other people. So do you think that's imperative?
Yeah, I do. And I feel like youth clubs are community hubs.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So children get to know each other. The parents know where the kids are. The parents meet at the youth clubs as well. So for me, like growing up, youth clubs for me were like a community hub. That's how I got to know everybody in my local area. So obviously you'd have tear-ups with the other kids. That happens. But it wasn't... We weren't split up into different sections.
It was healthy,
yeah, man. And now we're living in a society where you don't even know who your next door neighbour is.
That's crazy. Yeah, like people often say there is no community.
Yeah.
One thing I remember is when we had the London riots over here. That was around the time where a lot of youth centres were being closed down. I used to do a bit of youth work myself, and youth centre I used to work in got closed down. Can you tell us maybe something a little bit about the effect that might have on a community, youth centres being closed down?
I just think it displaces young people. So it's kind of like, I guess my biggest issue is our generation and up. We demonise kids all the time. So what you hear on the news is the youth this, the youth that, the youth are doing this, the youth are always on the streets, blah, 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 blah. But I think what people fail to realise is when you are under the age of 18, you have a voice, but you don't have an amplified voice. You rely on adults to do things for you because they're of age. So legally, as an adult, you have power. See, if we're constantly demonising children and children want things and we're not even providing them with a voice and we're not even getting behind them, what do you think is going to happen? I think for us, and I think I've said this somewhere else, if you are pointing one finger at children, you need to look at the three fingers pointing at yourself. And for me, like where I come from is kind of like us as adults need to take some responsibility for the environment that we're creating for young people. I could look at them all day, but I've got the power. Other adults have got the power. So I could tell you that you're a bad child, but you didn't grow up like that. You didn't wake up like that all of a sudden. Yeah. So what am I doing to have an impact on that? That's where I'm at. I feel like...
No, I agree. I think I've got to say, there's no such thing as a bad child. There's bad parenting. And then the environment in which they're growing. So it's...
Yeah, and even with the parenting thing, I find it difficult because we're now, like, you talk about austerity and things getting closed down. Yeah. So now parents are working all 4 or 5 jobs. Yeah. So parents aren't able to be there every day for their children because they're having to provide for their household.
Yeah, I don't necessarily think that's bad parenting, but...
Yeah.
Yeah, because you've got parents who are not working who aren't instilling the rights, instilling the right things into their children.
Morals, good sense of morals.
Yeah, and then the kids are growing up and doing all types of messed up things. So, yeah, man, that's interesting. So, being so inspirational as you are, and
thanks, man.
You are well, you're inspiring us, and I know there's a lot of people that really logged into what you're talking about. Who inspired you to then take this leap of faith and to continue pushing to help others or to be a social person? So who inspired you to do your thing, basically?
It's difficult, I think I was inspired by people around me.
Yeah.
So it wasn't always... So obviously I looked up to people like Malcolm X, James Baldwin, Bayard Rustin, all of those kind of guys. The Black Panthers of Britain. So we had Black Panthers in London, all of those kind of guys doing their thing as well. But for me, it was a lot of man on the ends. Like people that I grew up with. I think what happens is when people look for inspiration, we always use these pinnacles of people that... I don't know, the perfect activist or the perfect person. For me, the people that I grew up with on the ends were my inspiration.
Yeah. So when you say people you grew up with, are you specifically talking about people from your own age group you used to move with? Or are you talking about maybe, as we say, olders that are around the way?
Collectively.
Elders.
Yeah, collectively. And my dad. My dad's an inspiration for me. My dad, honestly, don't get me started. My dad is the greatest man.
Now talk it.
Bro, the greatest man you will ever meet. Trust me. I cannot talk about my dad enough. He's amazing. My dad is my guy, man. Makes me emotional. My dad is my guy. My dad is my guy. So
it's
for me, having parents behind me that were that supported everything I did was important to me. And obviously I've spoken about this previously. People that I love dying inspired me. Like losing my cousin. My cousin was my best mate. You know what I mean? We grew up like brothers. So for me, that inspired me to do something. I never want someone to feel the pain that I did when I lost somebody. And I never want someone to be in a position where they're losing their life. But unfortunately, it's constantly happening, so... Because
I saw it was International Man's Day or something on Twitter?
Yeah.
I see you went shopping with your dad.
Yeah. Come on. My dad's my guy, man. Having people like that in my family.
Positive male role models.
Yeah.
I don't feel there's enough on street level, not street level on the road, but that's easily accessible.
Yeah.
So there's not as many male figures for our kids and our teenagers that there once were for whatever reason, and not many have dads. I mean, I grew up with my mum and my dad passed away when I was young.
I'm sorry to hear that, man.
Thank you. This is what it is, man. But then finding male role models within the family or community to latch onto and be like, okay, I can be like them or they're doing the right thing. So I think that's important to have.
I was lucky to have it from my dad.
Yeah.
That's lucky, innit?
And he's happy with what you're doing now.
Yeah.
With the host.
He gets involved.
Proud of you.
Yeah. He's proud. Sometimes he doesn't know what the hell's going on. But for the
that's parents.
For the most part, he's happy, man. Like he's a proud man.
That's wicked, man. Touching on your hosting, because you have been doing a lot of hosting, working closely with Lush.
Yeah.
And you went around Europe to do the My Body, My Rules.
That's the one with Harnum Core. Yeah.
So just speak on that for those that weren't,
Yeah, so it's kind of like body positivity. So it was it was kind of identifying different people in society and kind of promoting people to embrace their bodies. So we all have this ideal of what the perfect body is or what the perfect person is. But I guess it's about sitting with yourself and who you are, removing the expectations and being happy with the body that you have.
Loving yourself.
And just stopping people from bullying others based on their bodies,
I swear everything you're saying is worthy of a round of applause.
No, man.
Not even sponsoring the man there.
Don't kill me.
We're going number one. Whatever you do with yourself.
But it was good. It was good fun, man.
One thing I found interesting, when I went onto your Twitter, was your location. You've got the former gentrified...
Yeah, pre-gentrified SC14.
Wow, that's so
my
crazy,
team, man. Because I'm from New Cross, innit? That's kind of where I'm from.
Yeah.
And the thing is, I understand that communities change, and I think that's fine. But what happens, we talk about community, you get people coming in, there's a lack of integration. So you come into the local area and you can feel people coming down, looking down on the people that are already there. And because it's zone 2, what happens is the house prices shoot up, you get richer people moving in, and the way a lot of the people that move into the community behave is a problem. Like, you're looking down on the people that are in the local area. I used to be able to walk around my ends fine. Now I get approached maybe once every few weeks. Excuse me, bro, do you know where I could find some weed? Do you know where I could buy some this?
Wow.
And I'm a bit like, come on.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? Like,
that's great, because you know what, my memories of New Cross, like, there was a lot of hip hop events that used to go down.
Yeah, it was trendy.
Some arms.
It was trendy, like the new, like the rockers. Like, there was a big rock, new wave punk scene that came, and it was always a bit grunge. Like, you know, it had the whole student grunge.
Yeah,
but then it was all New Cross
as well, right?
Like, you had the Essentials, and there was a big grime thing. So it was always a bit. And Eggy's, is Eggy's the
Eggy's is still there.
Famous place.
And you can't forget Moonshot, man. So like, New Cross, when it comes to Moonshot Park, the park around there, was heavy in creating the dancehall scene in London. So you used to have all dayers, Deptford Day and Deptford Park. Like, that whole area, there was a real. For me, I'm a dancehall man, innit? I grew up on dance. I love it.
That's your music.
Yeah, that's my music.
Top three selected dancehall artists. Would
Bro,
you say?
no, you can't do that to me.
We'll come back to you.
Come back to it. But for me, it was like, I grew up around that. So that area that I grew up around, that dancehall culture, it was gritty, all of that. To see that area change and that culture just be removed. I understand things move forwards, but you can progress and still keep some of the same stuff.
Yeah.
It's when you're going in there and you're coming into an area and the way that you're changing it is disallowing the local people to stay there. And that's a problem.
Phasing them out. Well, we're finding that in like East London, in Walthamstow, Leighton, in Hackney, it's been going on for a while. So, you know, gentrification is an issue. It has some plus sides, but for the most part, like you see, the local people and businesses are being phased out.
This is it, man.
And it's becoming, you know,
it's crazy.
Not great.
Like,
great.
I don't know, my memories of New Cross are like a place where, you know, there was a few goons down there. You kind of got goons and queues. There's like loads of graffiti up and stuff nearby by the station. And then even like the university there, I think it's the Goldsmiths, where they got the SU and stuff. You know, you might get some fly girls walking around.
You know, you had community. New Cross was a community. Deptford as well. Like, everybody knew each other. Like, even if I didn't know you, I'd know someone who knows you. And that can sometimes be a bad thing, but quite a lot of the time it can be a good thing as well. I've been in sticky situations growing up where someone was like, oh no, I know Richie, he's blah blah blah's cousin, or he's blah blah blah's brethren. So there was a sense of community where if something happened to you, people locally would protect you.
You don't get that now. It's every man for himself.
The NF came into my area in the 90s. They got run out. My whole street run them out. So I don't know if that happened now, you know what I mean?
They would get run out now.
Maybe.
I'd like to think they would.
I'd like to think so too.
I don't know if these people moving
gentrifying
the place are going to be
Should
running.
Should we go outside? Is it safe? I'm not really sure.
That's a good accent. Are you sure you're not changing yourself?
There's loads of black people running in that direction. We should stay inside.
So talking about sort of your upbringing, growing up with music, how has music, other than dancehall, how else has music inspired you to become the person you are? And that's quite a big statement. So you grew up with dancehall primarily in the house?
I grew up with everything.
Everything.
You know? For me, music has kind of been the backdrop for my whole life.
Yeah.
And that's the thing about music. I feel like I listen to a song, it takes me to a time in my existence. Okay. So music has been like the golden thread running throughout my existence.
Brings people together.
Like initially my sister was a hip hop head, dancehall. My mum likes lovers rock and reggae. My dad's a soul man. Yeah. So inside my house there were people like Curtis Mayfield, James Brown. Then you had people like Kofi, Freddie McGregor, all of those dancehall artists as well. So for me, my parents were very musical people. My sister used to MC when she was young. She's 10 years older than me.
Okay. What was her MC name?
Charisma.
Oh, good name.
Yeah. So
did you ever try spit a couple
when
bars?
I was young, but
definitely.
I don't really have too anyone, you know what I mean? But yeah, because my older sister was doing it, so I thought let me give it a try.
And your friends growing up as well was into it.
That's it. So music for me has always been a thread. We're not sneaking out. My parents allowed me to go out with people older than me. Yeah. I started hitting raves at 12, 13.
Okay.
So when the garage scene was popping, I was out there. I was in that.
Wait a minute, how did you get into raves at 12?
Well,
you like
funny
really
South London.
Funny you should say this. I knew a lot of the DJs and that as well from my sister. So when I hit 18, that's when ID started to become really heavy in clubs. But before that, like you could sneak in. I was maybe like 6 foot at the age of 14 or whatever, maybe 5'10". So you could just get in. I was going to clubs all the time when I was young. I was a real music person. So that's what I'm saying. Like, I was around when the scenes were being created, when the funky scene came in. So I was a garage person. Funky came in, discovered like deep house and that.
Well, I remember Southport, the
this
Weekenders,
is it, bro.
yeah.
And house changed my life completely.
Yeah.
Spanned me. I was
in what way would you say? Like, I think I know what you're gonna say, but
yeah.
Just the whole love and energy that it came with,
and also I was a bit of a underconfident person. I was very self-conscious. Really? Yeah. Surprisingly, I was very self-conscious in that. Very insecure. Had a few issues, obviously, with losing people when I was young and that, and like bullying when I was young and that as well. And I found house music, and it changed my life. I came onto the house scene, and it was just pure love, and it felt like a place where you could be yourself. And the music was amazing, and the vibe was amazing, and there was always something happening. Like for me, house is magical. Like it's such a magical music, so it spanned my life, man.
I would have to agree with you, because I came into sort of house through a good friend, Ricky, you know, through DJ, music, and then before it was always garage, grime and rap, but then going to house raves, and especially house raves where it was like the Southport or the raves in South, where it was people that I thought, well, I didn't know like house was this. I thought house was something else.
Yeah, that's it.
Did you guys think there was a big difference between house raves and garage raves? Because I always thought it was the same kind of
Depends
thing.
what kind of garage.
Yeah.
You know.
I think like, go on, sorry.
No, go on.
No, go on. I think you did, boy.
You guys are so British, man.
For me, garage. Now, for me, garage was like, I like the commercial stuff, but I was a Todd Edwards man, so that was garage, but it still had that. Garage is a form of house anyway, but it still had that. Rather than the kind of two-step garage, it was a different sound. So there was always like an underlying sound of house there, but. House is complicated, man. There's so many different types. There's
vibe-wise,
we took it to a house.
Did I don't know? Did the culture feel different? Was it
was different.
Yeah,
because I always thought it was the same kind of people. They dressed the same.
Nah, it was different.
The garage crowd totally different from the house crowd.
They dressed
because they used to say house and garage, didn't they?
Yeah,
that was actually a thing where you'd get house DJs, garage DJs. Everyone was all under one roof.
I think within London, and I think definitely within like the garage scene of growing up, it was a bit more showy, and it was like. The Patrick Cox, the Machino, the Champagne, Versace, and it was a bit more like
Machino,
like the Showtime, and people would get dressed up like the Costa Nostra,
Iceberg jeans,
and then Time and Envy, and all these big, all these raves and stuff and whatnot. And there was a sound of like the American house and garage, and in the UK, you know, that we knew of, and then speak garage, and it became more showy, and it became our thing in London, and you had the MCs. But then house was like you can wear what you want. You can be who you want. It's not showy. You can mix around. Everyone can do what they want. Maybe a bit more drug infueled, we could say.
We could say.
You can say.
You can say. No, we definitely can say. There was a lot of drugs. Enough drugs in the dance. Anyway. But then when garage got darker, early 2000s, and then the MCs wanted to start doing their own thing, and then gave birth to grime. You know, dark side, esky sound, whatever.
Love that sound.
Yeah, love that sound. Went over there, the house, this kept evolving. But even within the house scene, you've got different. You know, you've got like the Europeans. You might go to a European rave, and then you've got like a
tech house,
and then a soulful afro. So there's so many
tribal
sub-genres. But it definitely went out and But it was just wonderful, like these Southport experiences and these raves, seeing people just coming from north, south, east, west of England, bad man in the dance. Who were like, you right, do you want a drink?
It was such a vibe, man.
Yeah, everyone was this
20-year-olds and 60-year-olds in the same dance.
Yeah.
Raving together. Like there was a real, and that's the thing about house music and why I feel like it changed my life. It brought so many different types of people together. I could be raving next to somebody who might be my mum and dad's friends, you know? And everyone would talk. I met loads of people on the house scene who were like 30 years older than me. But it was just such a love vibe. Like it was like a movement. Still is.
Positive energy.
Yeah.
Well, when we went to the Berlin, when we went to see the DJ for my stag, man, that was all house music. You seemed to be having a good time.
Hey, man, that was magic.
Osalade.
Oh, that's my guy, man.
So for my stag do in Berlin, he was playing. And I was like, we got to go, you know, my stag orchestrated it. And loads of my friends, Kal and loads of others who weren't into house or knew, they were like, all right, we'll go because Ben's into house, he's his stag. And when they got there, they were like, this is the best thing ever. This is like,
Osalade is the guy as well.
You might not have been doing that.
No, it was dope. I like the culture that he brought to it as well, because he had he was giving out these little kente cloths and people were walking around with little wraps, head wraps. And
Yoruba Soul is his kind of his label, and he really brings his culture into that. But did you also know Osalade is one of the pioneers of New Jack Swing music?
Wow.
Like he was big on New Jack Swing. Some of the biggest New Jack Swing songs that you know were produced by him. Eric Gable, Process of Elimination, Osalade did that. He did Mary J. Blige songs as well. He did Guy songs. Like the man has been around.
Was he from Detroit? Was he from?
Where
is he from somewhere on the East Coast?
Yeah. He's a pioneer, and not many people know that. They know for house.
And he's dropping his gems. He's dropping his gems.
Come on,
Soundman.
Well, you like my music.
Yeah, I know. Listen, you bought your decks. You're just saying you bought some decks.
So they just dropped today.
Yeah.
Yeah, I've been saying for 10 years that I want to learn how to DJ, and I think you just got to throw yourself into it, innit? I've been saving it up. Black Friday came out.
Come on.
It's just like, drop that one.
You felt compelled to buy something on Black Friday? Because I see people, Black Friday, people were like, I've got to buy something, I've got to buy something.
You weren't fighting people to carry the decks out of the store.
I went delivered to my house. Are you mad? I'm not fighting people. I'm worrying about my prostate and my back. I'm too old for that, bro. Like, come on.
Take it easier.
Yeah, this is it. So I got it delivered.
So you're going to be practicing?
Yeah. Obviously, I said I love music.
My
uncle was a sound man and that, so
wicked.
Yeah, I just want to
get the CDJs and doing all that.
Yeah, that's it. That's what I want to be doing. But you know them ones who dance as they're doing it.
Yeah.
Definitely going to be doing house.
We'll wait to hear the latest mix CD or SoundCloud link or
it's coming.
Wait for the house party invitation.
Trust me, it's coming.
That's all good, man. So what have you got coming up, sort of in the near future? I know you're working hard with the hosting, and you've been, putting yourself about in positive ways, obviously. So what can we expect to see from you as the year comes towards an end, and as we go into 2019?
I'm trying to think of what I've got going on, to be honest. So it's been a bit quiet. I'm on Talk Radio tomorrow.
Wow.
So I'm doing it's the morning show. So you go through like the papers and that. It's meant to be with Penny Smith, but I think it's with Dan Wotton. So the guy who executive of the Sun. So that's going to be interesting. Given my political views and his, but we're going to see how it goes.
That might be a clash.
Yeah.
Little sound clash.
Yeah, I'm telling you.
You can get into your little bashment about that.
Well, this is it. So I'm doing that. I'm going to try and, kind of build a bit more of a platform for myself. Because my day job is busy. And it's a new job. I've been in there a month. So it's kind of like winding down.
Congratulations.
Cheers, man. And a bit more fun. So I think people, when they see what I do online and the things that I talk about, they assume that I'm somebody who's not very fun. Like I'm serious all the time. I can't bust joke. And I think for me, I want to do things that are a little bit more fun. Because my personality is jokes. But I'm constantly talking about really somber things. And as an emotional person, that's a lot sometimes, man.
Yeah.
So.
Well, you were talking about sort of off camera, you were getting a lot of unwanted attention or hate from people.
Yeah.
And
well, death threats and that.
Yeah.
That's bad.
It's horrible, man.
But you can't find me. Where do I live? Pre-gentrified SC40. It's a big place.
It's a very big place.
And you're sending me death threats from America. So you hate me that much, you're going to buy a ticket. That it, bro.
So that's just gas, basically.
You're just gassing.
Someone's that far away.
Yeah. You're gassing.
It's sad, though, that people are still thinking like that and still chatting shit. And just because, everything you put out is positive and is about helping people.
But this is it.
And enlightening people, but...
They're not about it, though. You don't even have a picture up. Like, come on. This is a hobby for you.
They're not going to come to South East.
Definitely not.
Definitay not.
Definitely
not. Get off the train.
Yeah.
So
I'll be alright.
Talking about everything you do is positive. I saw a video of you where you were kind of having a discussion. You were like in a crowd and someone put a microphone on you. And I thought it was just so positive, the stuff that you were talking about in that interview there. Like you were talking about suffering a loss and losing people and kind of relating to other young people that may have lost someone and how the community reacts to that, how there might not be any support for someone who's struggling, having some kind of an internal battle. I think that's a really positive thing to talk about there, like, which is kind of like a mental health kind of issue.
Of course,
have you got any thoughts on what can be done to kind of solve that type of problem there, where people are just, young people might have gone through something really traumatic. And they don't really know how to handle it.
I think I hate throwing out the same thing, but my answer is always the same, And sometimes it's about having a conversation with somebody. And I think, I'm talking about us as adults. It's not assuming, oh, you know, my son or my daughter suffered the loss of one of their friends, they'll be okay. I think we really need to have those conversations and not tell them what they need to do, but listen to them and ask them what they need from us. Because I think for me, in my process and the things that I went through, my emotions weren't always handled. You know, they weren't handled in the right way. People knew I was having them. I was kind of to myself in some ways, but I think everyone was scared to have that conversation with me. So for me, talking is extremely important. I'm a fan of therapy as well, and I think young people really deserve to have a platform where they're able to have a conversation with somebody that is purely listening to them. And that could be group therapy as well, that could be one-on-one therapy. But I feel like kids really need to have that platform to speak about how they feel.
Because I think people get stigmatised if you go to therapy that you're seen as weak, or you know, they got mental health, you know, there's issues. But it's important. I know people in my family have therapy and friends, and I think it's very important to talk to someone and not, you know, just be listened and not be judged. And
I think we need to break down those barriers, man. And I think most schools have a school counsellor, secondary schools.
They do, yeah.
But the door will be empty, man. A lot of the boys, especially, feel away about going there.
And it's the setting, it's school. And for young people, school is like a catwalk. So everyone's watching you. They're watching you come out the school counsellor. They're watching you having those conversations. So I think children deserve some sort of privacy as well. Like, we need to not protect their pride, but protect their pride in essence, like to a degree. I mean, for me, I've had a therapist for the past 5 years. I go every two to 3 weeks. I don't have any shame in it. When I talk to young people or work with them, I tell them straight. Like, I love going in there and chatting shit. If someone's pissed me off, I wait until therapy in it so I don't lose my job.
Like, the therapist having
and honestly, I let that spray, man. There's one time this fucking bitch literally. She's like, and I'm a proper. This is meant to be a 45 minutes. Some gangster shit. That's my therapy session. I'm sending for everybody.
Double after double after.
And I think
because event, man.
This is it. And people think therapy is this really like this stuffy kind of structured environment. Like therapy should give you what you need. See, if you need to go in there and swear, even as a child, for an hour, that's what you need to do. Like, you can't be saying, oh no, can you not use that language, please? So a 15-year-old has just had their friend murdered, and you don't want that 15-year-old to swear. You're mad. You're controlling that child's emotions. Let them express their emotions in the way that they need to. It's venting.
Have you had the same person that for the last few years that you've had?
Past 5 years.
So you've got that rapport even built up?
Yeah, we get on well. Like, my therapist knows me, innit? So yeah, it's ready for the cussing when I come in. Ready. So I promote that.
Do they ever cuss you back as well?
No, I can't, man. So I pay for my sessions and you're cussing me, yeah? What's it look like? Cussing me, no way.
It's interesting, man.
You know what I thought was interesting as well? Like, from my experience of going to uni, I had a point where doing my second degree, I had a point where I was stressed out and I started looking for some type of counselling, and they were fully booked. They were like, like it was like, I don't know, the 6th or 7th weekend, and they were like, at this point in the semester, it's always everyone's just stressed out, and stress is actually a mental illness. People don't actually realise that. It's all in your mind, isn't it, that you're stressed?
Yeah, and people deal with stress in different ways. Sometimes it can bring the best out of people. Sometimes it can...
The worst.
Yeah, I see a lot of stress at work, and you have to rise above it.
Oh, like that whole pressure makes diamonds kind of thing.
Yeah, I mean, certain people can perform
flat and cold. I mean, just squashed. Can't do nothing with it. Flat and cold.
Try and build it back up again. But no, that's fascinating. That's fascinating. I mean, I don't know what else to say.
We've been running for a hot minute, man. How are we doing for time?
Am I talking too much?
No.
Okay, cool.
No, you can keep.
We will talk about that.
What do you want to talk about? Well, you didn't give us your top 3 selected.
Acts. You know what? For Ninja Man. Ninja Man's a bad man. Tenor is up there. I just love the tone of it. I can't pick 3. Tenor's up there for me.
That's why his top 3 selected is hard.
Yeah. I love the sound of General Degree. Okay. I love his voice. I just love the way he rides a beat. I'm just going to give you enough that I love. And I love...
Talk it, man. It's music.
Vibes.
Yeah.
This is the thing that people don't realise about vibes, yeah? Politics aside, the way that man, his conduct of the English language is mad, you know? Mad. I think people only look at hip hop artists and they're like, oh yeah, the lyricality, blah 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 blah. And I agree. Yeah. But people don't look at dancehall artists. The way Spice uses language, the way Vybz Kartel uses language, mad. People like Chronix, he's not dancehall, he's more reggae.
Did you go to the Chronix? Who went to the Chronix? I think man went, and did you go as
well? Of
well?
course I went.
Silly question.
Yeah.
How was it?
Yeah, it was amazing, man.
Yeah?
Amazing. For me being a West Indian music, I always, you know what I mean, I always promote that.
You're going to put that in your mix? You're going to have a little... Yeah. Just playing everything. Your set's going to be like... it's ridiculous.
It's difficult. So I've got a little plan for when I start. And I'm going to look at each genre and just throw out a mix for each one.
Wicked. I can't wait.
Yeah. So it's coming, man. It's coming.
No, that's really good, man.
Book me, for a party.
You look...
Trying to make that money back.
We'll have you in future. If we ever do a live beer rap and banter, we'll have you playing and everyone else. We got it all planned out. We got it all planned out. No, but we're really happy to see you, man, and we're really happy that you come down. Obviously, you're doing a lot of great things. You've done a lot of great things. Obviously, with the hosting and general discussions, and we wish you the best in the future.
I would like to know. Do you put yourself in...
He always does. And he goes, quickly.
Sorry,
don't go anywhere.
It's getting hot.
I'm super curious though.
Feeling pressure.
Because you do so many different things, man.
Yeah.
Is there any one box that you could be put in? Like, is there something you would think of yourself as? Because sometimes your perception of yourself is different to what other people
I hear that.
Good question.
Because like someone might say, oh, he's an activist. Another person might say, oh no, he's just a public speaker. So, oh, he's why?
I'm me, you know.
Boom.
That's it. I know it sounds really cliche, but the reason why I say that is like I didn't go into any of this saying I want to do this. I want to be an activist. I want to be a public speaker. All of this stuff happened organically. So I spoke on Twitter. I was talking about my experiences on things. People followed me and appreciated what I was saying. Then based on what I was saying, people would contact me via DM saying, listen, we've got this event coming up. We see that you speak about this. Would you mind coming in? So I went in and had a conversation. Then people would see maybe a video of that event and say, we think what you had to say on this was amazing. Would you mind coming in and doing that? And it just grew and grew and grew. And for me, I had a performing arts background. So,
your own. Did you have an agent or just your own self?
That's me. Yeah. My agent is me. I had someone who was meant to be dealing with my emails and that. Never got into them. So I lost a few opportunities, but it is what it is.
Bit more acting in the future?
Acting.
Yeah.
Yeah. You know what? It's difficult because I think what people do sometimes is they use pain to build their platform. So it's like, I've gone through all of this trauma. I'm talking about trauma. Now everybody knows me for it. Let me go and become a singer. And I never want to be that person who builds a platform based on managing trauma and having real life conversations just for my own gain. You know what I mean? So I think I'll just stay on the vein that I'm on now. And, you know, keep pushing, man.
It's a straight path. It's a righteous path. And
man like Richie Brave.
Richie Brave. Make some noise, please. Richie Brave is time.
Come on. Don't gas me.
You don't need gassing, man. You're like, number one. Right.
For the people that want to find you, tell us where they can find you, brother.
Yeah, everything, man. Do I look in the camera? Everything, man. So, okay.
I should hope so.
Yeah. So everything is Richie Brave. So, like Instagram,
At Richie Brave.
Yeah, at Richie Brave.
We've put the links and everything on the there. But if you don't know, you get to know. He's a wonderful guy, and you know we're really lucky and fortunate to have him and give some time to us before he nips off home and starts mixing his house into soul.
Pissing off my neighbours.
Listen, it's got to be done, man. Gentrify that. You got to
give
him a lesson in the sound. Turn it down. Turn it down.
Induction. That's what it is.
One last message or anything you want to say to the people them out there?
Oh God, I
don't have to. You just say.
Thanks for listening and watching, man.
Big up.
Coming soon. And thanks for having me, man. It's a real pleasure. Thank you.
Love, brother.
Bro.
Alright, this beer rap banner, myself English.
And myself Kal Sereousz.
And thanks for watching. Stay tuned. Peace.
That was awesome. Thanks for having me, man.
That was fucking awesome.